Yes, Tim.
I will just say that we've got Matt along tonight because Matt is a really very second-rate cartoonist. And anybody in the forefront of cartooning takes the gig. So you're stuck with Matt tonight. I'm very, very sorry. Matt, will you please?
I was busy.
As a measure of how great a cartoonist we're going.
Great.
Where are you all going? As a measure of what a great cartoonist, we have something to celebrate tonight. Today, Beetles Gallery sold the 3,500th mat. That was today. I owe him so much money. Another measure. Sorry. Another measure of just how great he is and how he's on such a roll. We've sold every day over the last 7 days a mat. He's on great, great form. 7 days ago, I'm planning to blow up my own house. I'm worried about mansion tax. Good old Guy Fawkes, we could do with him now.
Yes, couldn't we just?
2 sedatives, please. I'm terrified of fireworks and I'm terrified of the budget. Terrified. That's the dog at the vet. Who gets the Telegraph? I'm sending you to prison. Neither of us has any idea how long you'll be there. We sell this to a leading judge in the north of England, which we jokingly call the hanging judge. And she sent it to the Lady Chief Justice this week. At a dinner of 200 lawyers, they didn't stop laughing for 5 minutes. They recognised something there. If David Lammy ran a zoo, a mat a day keeps the doctor. BBC staff traitors. This is the new programme. One person in the BBC newsroom is not left wing, and all the others have to find out who it is. Small prison breakouts. Prisoner to his warder. There was going to be a mass breakout, but the other prisoners were accidentally released. And today, the 3,500th cartoon. Crisis at the BBC, the newsman is saying, claims of bias were first reported in the Telegraph, which the BBC has named as a terrorist organisation. Matt, well done. Everybody always wants to know, I know we've chatted about this before, everyone wants to know just how do you do it, how do you get the idea every day, what is the process of going into the office or working from home that gives you the idea and it ends up like so?
It's exactly the same every day. I start with a huge blank piece of paper and I write down at the top every subject that I could possibly think of a joke on. So every day it's prison releases and possible tax rises and anything else that's going very badly wrong. I just think of as many jokes on each one as I think, all right, I set myself little tasks. I think, all right, I'll think of one joke on every subject and then I'll get a coffee. And then I think, all right, between my desk and the gents' loo, I'll think of one more joke about prison release. So people see me walking through the office very, very slowly, trying to think of a joke. And I never know where it's going to come from. It can be right, I mean, sometimes I think, oh, I like to show about 3 to the editor now. Sometimes I think, oh, I've got 2 that I think are pretty good, and I just need an extra one just to make up the numbers. And that's the one that's picked. You know, it's just like that extra little push, and you never know. And you know, when I'm in the office, sometimes people in the you know, you hear someone in the by the coffee machine just saying, "I can't believe it's so cold," and you just think, yeah, that everyone's talking about, you know, traitors or how cold it is, or and so you never know where it's going to come from, but you're always very grateful when it does come. But I don't know which they're going to pick, actually. You know, it's sometimes a surprise.
Now, this is a good example. We usually hold this to the very end. He always brings along tomorrow's cartoon, so you don't have to buy that expensive paper. Now, this is, first of all, you're going to have tomorrow's cartoon, and then you're going to have the one that the editor rejected. And I'm going to have a vote.
I'll have to run back and draw the other one.
Right, this says, it's ridiculous. Keir Starmer was put on a plane to Brazil, and a few days later he's back in the UK. Well, if you think that was good. The rejected one. President Trump will give Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, but only if they fire them at the BBC. All right, show of hands. Number 1.
I like
Number 2. Oh, I think that's a 50-50 thing.
I'm going to have to kill everyone in this room, because the ones that don't get in that day quite often get in. So forget that joke. You'll see it again, almost certainly.
Now tell me about editorial choice. You're down from 6. You used to present 6 to him to really muddle him, but you're down to 3. Does he ask for 3? Does he want?
They don't really ask for anything. And I started, the very first time I showed 6 was the very first time I had to do. I was just illustrating stories inside the paper, and I'm sure everyone knows this, so I'll tell it very quickly, but the Telegraph printed the wrong date on the front page, and they had to have a front page apology written by the editor, because all the readers had said, you know, I had a huge row in the post office, and I went to pick someone up from the airport, and it was an absolute disaster. And so the editor published a front page apology, and I just happened to be in the office. I'd never done a front page cartoon, and they said, well, you're a cartoonist, do a cartoon for this. And I thought, if I give them 6, they have to do 1. They just you know, if you give them 1, they say, oh, they didn't quite work. If you give them 6, 1 has to be all right. And the joke I thought of was 2 people saying, I hope I have a better Thursday than I did yesterday. And so I got into that habit of thinking, well, if you show 6, 1 is going to be good enough for the front page. So that's, but funnily enough, whether it's, I don't know, since COVID or whatever, we've missed out one stage, because we used to narrow it down to the best 3 and show the editor, and I now do that stage. So.
And how do you split it, working from home or the office? What do you prefer now?
I love the mix. Funnily enough, I'm a bit more nervous and highly strung when I'm at home, because I'm worried that stuff's going on that I'm unaware of. So I sort of, but when I'm at home, I literally just photograph them on my phone and WhatsApp 3 of them to the editor and say, which of these do you want? And the extraordinary thing is that I get a quicker reply, because when I'm in the office, he's in a meeting or he's in the loo or something. But when you WhatsApp them, you know, I think he just picks one while he's there. So quite often, while I'm in the office, I think, well, I might WhatsApp him because, you know, I can't find him anywhere. And but it's one of those things that before COVID, I just didn't think I'd be able to think of a cartoon if I wasn't in the desk. I always sit out in the chair. I always sit in with the lamp there and my coffee there and the pen there. And I just, because of COVID, I had to do it from home. And I realised all that talking I do in the newsroom is just asking which celebrities have a super injunction and what scandal is going on that they're not allowed to print. So I just gossip. I realised it's just gossip.
I wonder if that'll ever change. Most of the clients who love Matt and come in and chat about Matt said, if there was no Matt, I probably wouldn't read the Telegraph. Now, there's lots of talk endlessly ongoing about ownership, and you occasionally dare to do a cartoon. There's one right in the, for those of you who haven't yet, Walter. on the title page, there's two natives at Chagos Islands, and it says, "Who owns us? Are we being given away? This must be what it feels like to work at the Daily Telegraph." Now, you were a bit cagey last time, but you did say when the ownership problems were going on, it might go to an Arab nation. You said, well, the problem was you didn't know who to suck up to.
It's not that I have principles, it's just I want to know who I should be crawling up to. Yeah.
Now, also, a year ago, I just listened back to it, and we were only just into the Labour government, and you were already just got too much material just in that short space of time. And you said, if I knew it was this good, I would have voted for it. Well, they haven't disappointed you, have they? It's something just keeps on giving.
I'm afraid it is true that what's terrible for the country is fantastic for cartoons. Yes, I find myself wishing, God, I hope the budget's a real stinker.
It will be.
Your little duo that I love so much, the little suburban couple that are sort of vaguely mesmerised by current events and slightly defiant. Would you retire them if you moved to another paper, or would you take them with you? They're so much part of your life. Where do they come from?
Well, they are, I think I did tell this last week, but they are a real couple who used to live next door to my parents. And just when I was starting, I was having dinner with my parents, and there was a knock on the door, and it was their neighbour. And he said that I had parked my car facing one way, and all the other cars were facing one way. And would I turn my car around, facing it the same way as all the others? So, of course, I said, absolutely. I had no idea I'd done that. And I turned it round, and I thought, at that moment, I'm going to draw you on the front of the Daily for the rest of my life. And I now think of every news story. I think, well, how will it affect him? You know, how will the news affect?
Well, they're perfect. Every great cartoonist, if you look at a series of their cartoons, they've always got somebody, usually a little animal, in the bottom corner, and they're commenting on the cartoon and the day's events. This is your couple are the equivalent of Woodstock in the Snoopy cartoons. It's essential that you don't retire them.
Yes.
So it's very good. They don't seem to age.
But also I've become them. I mean, a bit like the sort of, you know, people say they look like their dogs. When I first drew him, I thought he was an idiot. But now, you know, there was one moment when I realised I'd become him, when bin collections were changed to fortnightly, and his wife was saying to him, "I know you're excited, but the sooner you go to sleep, the sooner that was the moment I realised I'd turned in and I was mocking all these years.
If you were to move, it would have to be quite a big offer to make you move. Have you had these big offers? Are you like a striker in the Premiership? What's going for you?
When newspapers were much richer, there was one time when the Daily Mail were trying to get me, and I was, after a day at work, I was walking back to our house in South East London, and as I was approaching our house, I thought, who in our road has bought a brand new black S-Class Mercedes? And I couldn't believe that somebody had a car like that. And as I got closer, a man in a peak cap jumped out, handed me a letter from Paul Dacre from the Daily Mail, and said, "Do you want to get in the back of the car and I'll take you there now?" So it was like a polite kidnapping. I don't think papers are rich enough anymore to do that. I don't think they have chauffeurs anymore.
No one could afford you. I was very struck also, and it's become even more of a subject last time. You mentioned AI and how you had been confronted by your son-in-law, who you no longer speak to, who had put the request into AI to produce a Mac cartoon. He must have paid for the next series because he actually got a cartoon. And you said, well, it wasn't bad. But it wasn't that good. Well, we tried it today. Because he does take very long holidays. And there is a time when we need somebody to step into Matt's shoes. So we asked it to do us a Matt cartoon. And the joke came back. Scene, a BBC newsroom, a reporter's talking to producer who's reading a memo. Caption, Trump says he's suing us for not giving both sides of the argument. His and his. BBC cover, Trump in front of a courtroom podium, reporter scribbling notes, speech bubble. I love the BBC, especially when they're forced to cover me for weeks. They don't get any better. Trump sues the BBC, citing a lack of sufficient admiration. Rebrand, scene, the BBC logo being replaced by workers. The new sign reads TNN, Trump News Network. Caption, settlement out of court. Well, that one could be quite close. You, on the other title page, you did an AI, keep the fear at bay.
Yes.
And gentleman's sitting at his computer saying any old AI can write a novel, but it takes a human to have writer's block. If you move to another paper, you'll have to take your by appointment to royalty with you. Have you moved on from your #1 fan, the late Queen? How's the King? Does he regard you with the same admiration?
The cartoon that I thought maybe was a little bit close to the bone was in that sort of, there was that sort of strange period just after the Queen had died, when they were getting ready for the funeral, and there was a clip of Prince Charles, and he was trying to sign something with a pen. He got very cross with a pen, and I did a cartoon which was the final route of Prince Charles's pen. And I had it sort of processing through the sort of garden to the bin. And he asked the original, he got the original, and I thought maybe he would like that very much. He did, they did ask me to send it there, so
if you were left the Telegraph would have to find somebody, but there's lots of people who've always said that they could do your job. And who is, can you give me an example of
well, it hasn't happened for a while, and I think it's just because the Telegraph switchboard is so hopeless. In fact, I think we got rid of the switchboard. So unless you know someone's direct extension, you can't get through. But when we did have a switchboard, people would ring me with their ideas for jokes, and they were always like a short play. People would come in and leave, and then it would start raining, and something else would happen. And I'd always say, "Oh, well, thank you very much for that. I will mention that to the editor." And one chap used to ring quite regularly with an idea for a joke, and I never used them. And one day I got a call from him, and he said, "So you didn't use my joke?" And I said, "Oh no, sorry, I didn't." He said, "Did you see what they did use?" Anyway, I think he got so exasperated he started hopefully ringing someone else.
There's one aspect of Matt which people don't know, but we at base camp we know. He says yes, and very generously says yes to every charity that approaches him. And I have to tell you that this is bargain time, because in the charity auctions they always make over 1,000, and they made 1,700 before. So I think it's people just don't know they're available, and that's probably the real worth of this man. So what do you say to that?
Well, a couple once, the Telegraph, I can't remember what they were trying to raise money for, but a couple did win lunch with me. And so we went out to lunch, and they said, "Oh, we're your biggest fan, So we had a lunch quite near the office. I thought it was a lovely lunch, and it went very, very well. And at the end of the lunch, the man said to me, "You know what, I admire you even more now, because you're not naturally funny, are you?"
I think that's a good moment to ask you, do you have anything in particular you would like to ask? Is Maggie here? No.
Do you think you can get away with what you say because you're a cartoonist? As regards political comments.
The one thing people often think is, okay, you work for the Telegraph, do they ever say that isn't right-wing enough? But actually, they've never ever said that to me. They don't really care, and sort of, as long as it's a good joke, they really don't mind what I do. Yeah, as long as it's funny, and they don't even mind if it's sort of. I mean, at Brexit, I did pro and anti jokes. So I annoyed everyone. But they never said that's anti, they just said that's the better joke.
As long as Trump can never sue you.
Well, yes, exactly. I'm worried he's going to buy the Telegraph.
Do you keep the ones they don't use? And if so, have you thought of doing a book of the ones?
You know what, they go off like bad milk, actually. They don't last very long. And I sort of, the one that I hope you've all forgotten, I do keep them for a while, thinking, okay, if I have a terrible day, maybe the second best from yesterday will be better than my best today. But actually, after a few days, they don't last very long.
They don't make you laugh, but they still make other people laugh.
Yeah. Well,
I think they made a good point.
I think they're a bit like a recipe that didn't quite work.
I think Chris is listening to the idea.
I told somebody earlier on, but ages ago, when the Duchess of York was with her financial advisor, she was photographed topless on a sun lounger with him. I drew, just for the newsroom, a cartoon of her financial advisor leaning over her saying, "I must warn you, things can go down as well as up." Actually, I did get in the Telegraph, but Ian had phoned me and asked if he could have it as a bubble on the front page of Private Eye. So it did see the light of day.
Another question, anybody?
I missed
There's
the
one here. Sorry.
Is there anything you can't say about the royal family?
About the royal family? funny enough, after a joke about Fergie, I did get a very thick piece of card, and on a fountain pen was written, "Sorry you've lost your wit and joined the shits." It wasn't signed, so I don't know who it was from. So, that's the only hate mail I've had from the royal family.
You could hazard a guess who it might have come from.
Yeah.
How many preparatory sketches you go through before you actually get the image you want?
Well, sometimes it's sort of, usually the whole joke comes to me, but sometimes you think, oh, maybe I should set this somewhere else, or draw it differently, or have animals saying it. So some of them do vary quite a lot, you know, and others are just straightforward. I know exactly what it's going to look like. Yeah.
Is there a cartoonist you really admire?
There are lots I love. There was a French cartoonist called Sempe, whose drawings I just adore. And there are lots of, Chris had an evening of New Yorker cartoonists who were all my heroes. And I sort of love the New Yorker because I've never submitted cartoons there. And I'm so hatefully competitive that I sort of, if I see a funny joke by an English cartoonist, it just annoys me. So if I see a good cartoon in the New Yorker, it's just pleasure for me.
Yes, we had a dinner. There was a show in 2015 called The Americans Are Coming, and I flew a lot of great American cartoonists over. We had a dinner at the house. And it turned out, Matt, that they actually all adored your work.
Well, I
So,
amazing.
and in particular, Arnie Roth, who was still hanging on in there, and Ed Karen, who recently died,
Yeah.
they thought your work was brilliant. They knew it already. So that says something for you on this side of the pond, and says a lot about for your taste on the other side. Philomena.
Thanks again for coming, Matt, for this. It was lovely. It's become an
Right.
annual tradition of mine. And here's my question. Do you follow graphic novels at all? Are you interested in that form of cartooning?
I think I like the one hit, you know, the sort of, it's, I know that graphic novels are enormous in Europe. Like when we visit our second daughter is in Brussels, if you go to a bookshop, there are just rows and rows of graphic novels. But I have to say, it's not something that I do look at a lot. I don't know why. I think it's just, it's not a tradition here. It doesn't, you know.
That's it.
There's one here.
No,
One
you're
of-
right.
So-
Is there anyone in particular who inspired you to go down this route? Did you explore other forms of art, or
what I was desperate to be was a film cameraman, and I just like I filmed. I did all the clapperboard for LOLO in Bedford Forest, and unpaid, and I just could not get a job. And I was a pizza waiter, and I just thought I must be able to think of it. You know, like I heard. I might give you an idea how long ago this. I was living in a friend's flat, and he was charging me 30 quid a week, and I heard you got 75 for a joke in a magazine, and I thought if I could think of one joke, I could just live for a week, and if I could think of two, I'd live like a king. And then as soon as I saw one in print, I was absolutely hooked and didn't want to do anything else after that.
In part answer to your question, it's in the gene. You always find that there's an artistic background and it will come out. His dad is the brilliant Oliver Pritchett, a great journalist and writer. His grandfather is V.S. Pritchett. His sister is a comedy scriptwriter. And his daughter, Edith, is a very good cartoonist working for a very left-wing organisation. So it always comes out, and you're there amidst a family of brilliance. Thank you everybody for coming. The bar is open. Matt will be back at his... Oh, what is it?
Do you still have your first cartoon?
I don't even know if I have a copy of it. I thought you have to do, the first one has to be a desert island joke. So I thought it's like almost like a sort of, you know, you have to pass a like doing your theory test for the driving. I thought you have to do a desert island joke as your first joke that appears. And my first joke was two men on a desert island with one of those like gigantic boxes of chocolates, and one of them is opening it and saying, "Who's been eating from the bottom layer?" And so that was my first.
Can I finish now? Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
As I said, the bar is open, and Matt, will you please go back?